In another shining example of the governments being propped up by the United States, the South Korean military has now been exposed as having carried out witch hunts against homosexual soldiers. Sergeant A, who didn't want to reveal his identity, spoke to CNN. He said he was afraid the South Korean military would find out that he was talking to the media. He faces charges for having sexual relations with another man, a crime within the South Korean military punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Sergeant A is part of a wider investigation which human rights groups are calling a homophobic witch hunt, an accusation the military rejects. Homosexuality is not illegal for civilians in South Korea, but human rights groups say that the rights of Now, according to human rights groups and the local media, up to 32 soldiers have already been arrested. However, the South Korean military refuses to give an exact number. Now, Lim Tae-hoon, an activist for the Military Human Rights Center of Korea, said the military has been using gay dating apps as a way of tricking soldiers into revealing the fact that they're homosexual and then persecuting them as a result of this. Now, the South Korean military and the South Korean government, the Ministry of Defense, refused to give a statement on the situation when asked by CNN. They did, however, point to this previous statement that they had made. To keep the military community sound and given the special nature of military discipline, sexual relations with the same-sex soldiers are being punished as disgraceful conduct under military law. Now, despite what kind of baseless rhetoric that we're actually getting about the DPRK with regards to the rights of homosexuals, we see very clearly in codified law that homosexuality is illegal, at least in the military, and that people are being prosecuted for it. And this is very clearly a human rights violation. Now, it would be one thing to ban sexual relations, period, but it's quite another to only make it punishable if the interaction is homosexual. Now, despite claims that are made by the DPRK, claims that are usually purchased from certain individuals, we see very clearly that it is actually the South that is persecuting homosexuals. Now, that is not to say that there is not homophobia in the DPRK, as some sections, particularly the countryside, can still be very backward and have some backwards attitudes about it. However, there is no policy on record, and that there is no policy, according to the party, to persecute anyone based on their sexual orientation. But we do see very clearly that this does exist in the South, and yet the United States continues to champion South Korea as some kind of bastion of freedom and democracy, yet despite the fact that they basically own South Korea as a subsidiary of U.S. imperialism and a very clear human rights violation here. And even the previous story about how people with disabilities were being forced literally as slave workers for several things, including producing salt that goes out onto the world market. So once again, we see the United States, despite claiming to be the champion of freedom and democracy, blatantly supporting a homophobic, hateful, human rights abusing regime. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.